3.5 years ago, I put out a video of myself camping in the same spot. I was too cheap to pay for a motel, so I pulled over off the side of this remote highway and I set up camp here just in my little tent beside my car. It was not wilderness camping at all. However, this area is very remote, tons of wildlife all around. And that night I had an animal pacing outside my tent, middle of the night, 3:30 in the morning I think it was, for about an hour.
Well, I am living every solo camper's nightmare right now. There appears to be an animal of some kind pacing around my tent. It's the middle of the night.
There's an animal here on the gravel pacing around, and it didn't go away. So I started talking it out with the GoPro just to maintain my own sanity. It was completely off the cuff. I really wasn't planning anything of that video. I ended it quite abruptly. So the idea of this video is to put that one to bed. I didn't even think I was going to post that video, and it got like a negligible response as expected initially, but then like a year or two later it just started building and building, and continually it seems to get viewed, and there are all sorts of interesting comments. Some of them are a real nuisance, but there are also some interesting comments on that original video. But I will read some of the recurring ones, like a rapid fire Q&A style here. One common question: did you die? Yes, but I returned as John Dolph the White after defeating the Balrog. What was it? I still have no clue. Well, there are certain options of what it could be. Up here we've got lots of black bears. There are timber wolves, lynx, fox, coyote, moose. Farther north there are caribou. Those are kind of like the bigger animals. Beavers actually can be quite large, and that's one thing that I thought it could be in the end. But most likely I would say beaver or bear. I'm right by the water, and beavers are quite territorial, so it could have been a beaver. But the thing is, I have seen all of those animals walk on all kinds of terrain silently, like ghosts. 4 legs, they seem to distribute their weight evenly, and I've had so many scenarios where they're walking through the bush. You would think there'd be twigs cracking and everything, but I've heard nothing. Here I distinctly heard pacing, and I couldn't see any tracks the next morning in the gravel here. It's hard packed gravel. I can't really discern anything in it. You can see tire tracks, but that's really it. The weight of a car can press in deeply enough, but there's not much else to see. So unfortunately, I wish I could have seen something. Why not confront it? I guess I would answer this by saying, if you were walking down a street and you look down a dark alley and there was someone there in like a hood in the darkness, they look sketchy, would you confront them, or would you probably retreat or just like stay neutral in terms of an engagement? Personally, I would not engage. Yeah, I've seen tons of black bears in my life, tons. We have black bears in my town all the time. They're like our raccoons. I see them all over, and almost always a black bear will run, and that's the only scenario I've had. All the black bears I've seen, never had an encounter. Hey! I carry bear spray with me. The only time I've ever uncapped it was actually for a bull moose last fall in the rut. Bull moose approached my site, and I was worried I was going to have to spray it because a bull moose in the rut can be very dangerous. It ran off too eventually. It kind of looked at me, scented me probably for a while, and left. Someone said, legend has it he's still in the tent and can't find the key. The key was under my sleeping mat. I must have searched under it for a while. I could have hit the emergency alarm and had like a beep, 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 which probably would have sent the animal running, but I couldn't find it. It was like losing your cell phone in the couch cushions. You can reach down there and find nothing, and then like an hour later you reach in the same spot and it's somehow there. Guns. How did you not have a gun, you bleeping idiot? Those were probably the least appreciated comments on that video. For so many reasons. There are gun enthusiasts, and I have no problem with that. And then there are these aggressive gun owners who call you a bleeping idiot for not having a gun when they have no idea the circumstances and the context around it. For one, regulations. I live in Canada. You can't carry handguns here. I think the only place you can bring a handgun is to a range, a shooting range. And you can't carry firearms in general for self-defense. There has to be an open season that you're hunting for. And then on top of that, there are all kinds of regulations, like having it stored away in certain scenarios. You can't just guns aren't just all around here, and personally, I'm good with that. There's no Second Amendment here, so keep that in mind. I'm also not licensed. I've never gone through the licensing, so I don't know the rules perfectly, but that's my understanding of it. If someone with a really crystal clear opinion on or knowledge on that subject in Canada wants to share in the comments, please do. Beyond that, it's simply not needed here. Black bear fatalities are so rare. If I were camping in polar bear country, I would definitely want a shotgun. Absolutely. Because polar bears are a different animal. They will hunt humans. They will eat humans. Black bears is incredibly rare. And there are actually, I think the statistics show that there are actually more black bear encounters and fatalities. That's simply a matter of statistics, because there are way more black bears and way more black bears in populated areas. So you're getting more interaction. Places where they have polar bears and grizzly bears, there's less of that interaction because there are fewer of those animals and fewer people in those areas. Most experienced campers in Ontario, Canada, will not bring a gun camping and don't feel the need to, and are not allowed to in most Canadian cases, right? And people say that we don't have freedom here. I couldn't disagree more. If you love the outdoors, you love camping, I would say this is as free as any place on earth. The mountain wilderness here is incredible. As a Canadian citizen, you can use it for free. If you're not a Canadian citizen, you pay like $10 a night and you can camp anywhere on Crown land, which is public land here in Canada. Anyway, enough about guns. Why didn't you sleep in your car? I'm 6'4", I find it very uncomfortable. Short answer. I would be more concerned about two-legged animals. I completely agree with that one. If anything freaks me out in the wilderness, it's hearing or running into people where I really didn't expect to. And just the thought of like a psycho killer or something like that, that thought scares me way more than an animal out here. Plus the pacing, again, I was saying how four-legged animals are quite good at moving quietly. Humans, you can hear the highway traffic here, by the way. Like I said, I camped right beside the highway. Humans, you can hear walking. I guess it's because we have 2 feet, we don't spread our weight as much, and as a survival, we don't have to be quiet. Other animals in the wild, it's important for them. So that thought definitely crossed my mind, and I don't like that. Pee bottle. Why don't you have a pee bottle? Because I had to pee. The reason I don't have a pee bottle is because I find them gross. Sasquatch, Bigfoot. I don't believe in Sasquatch or Bigfoot. However, if you have seen Sasquatch, or you find that there's irrefutable evidence out there, I don't think you're a fool. I don't think you're a liar. Dr. Malcolm in Jurassic Park said it best. Nature finds a way. All things are possible. All things are possible. I do believe that. To say categorically that it can't be, would be an overstep, I think. The reason I don't believe is because I think that they would have found a carcass. Unless Sasquatch are immortal, one would be found eventually. Do they always manage to like crawl up into a little hole deep in the earth every time they're about to die? No, I don't believe that. And there's no need to send me links showing me the proof of Sasquatch, because the only way I would believe is if I saw it with my own eyes, or a reputable scientific laboratory did an analysis on some kind of carcass to prove that that's the case. That's the only way I would believe. So, no offense if you believe. Really no offense intended. That's just my personal opinion. I'll leave it there. Hopefully this puts this topic and video to bed, and hope you got some closure from this. Cheers.